So Hyderabad food goes beyond biryani, as we all know. And if anyone was there in the previous session, there was an extract from William Dalrymple, and they said that they were talking about the origins of samosa, which came from Afghanistan, the Sams, if I remember correctly. So Dilnaz ji will tell us more about Hyderabad food. So enjoy.
Adab arz hai. This is a universal Hyderabadi greeting that means my respects to you. I was very lucky to be born in a family of gourmets. My maternal family was full of intellectuals, academicians, freedom fighters, and one of my granduncles coined the slogan Jai Hind. My paternal, and they were very liberal. My maternal family is very liberal. My paternal family called themselves liberal, but they were all sides right angle. They encourage girls to study as much as they can, and they encourage them to have careers, but within certain boundaries. And all my paternal side, girls and boys were great sports persons. Unfortunately, having a tennis court at home, a badminton court, a table tennis in the veranda, I played none of the games. A great disappointment to my father, I think. He used to ask me, "Bibi, aap snakes and ladders khelte ya wo bhi nahi?" My earliest childhood memories was getting dressed and going to meet our senior relatives. My father would pack us up in the car and we would go first to meet his elder sister whom he adored, Badi Phuppu. And she served us on Bakrid, every Bakrid, khatte mitte gosht ke botiya. They were delicious. I can still savor the flavor, but I can't cook as good as she did. Then we would go to my cousin Pupu's house. The food on the table would be groaning with the food. It was open house at her house from morning till night. We meet my father's uncles and come home. And later on in the afternoon, the youngsters of the family, people younger to my father, would call. And we had a great time. I was privileged to go to Mehboobiya Girls High School. It was an iconic school those days. 3 generations from my family had studied there. My grandmother, my mother, her sisters, and me, and my paternal aunts too, and a lot of extended family girls. Mehboobiya had an exclusivity to it. It had a culture of its own. It encouraged the girls to what they thought would become accomplished ladies. We were taught cooking, needlework, and housekeeping. I was not very good in the academic field. I was an average student. But that didn't matter because I took part in a lot of extracurricular activities and won trophies for the school in debates, dramatics, and elocutions. So my principal used to be very happy with me. I loved her. We loved some of the teachers, we hated some, as everyone does, I suppose. There was a cook, for Mughlai cookery, there was a teacher called Fakhruddin Hazrat. We used to call her Fakhruddin Hazrat. She would be dressed in pristine white malmal saris with no embellishments, white kurta with white sleeves. And she had taught my mother also, so you can imagine how ancient she was. She used to dictate recipes in very archaic Urdu. Her terminology was Hazbe Pasand, Hazbe Zaiqa. Who uses these words these days? Hazbe Zaiqa, Hazbe Pasand. And she would scream at us if we did something wrong. Zauq hai na shauq hai, she would tell us. But Fakhruddin Hazrat's recipes are infallible to this day. I follow some of them, and I will give you one tip that she taught us. If you were making anything of chicken, she would make a paste of coriander, elaichi, and a small onion, and plaster the chicken with it and leave it for 1 hour. And then you make your biryani or korma or the pyaza or whatever. The chicken tasted divine. It does. Let me tell you. Try it and see. From Mehboobia, anyway, I think because of my extracurricular activities or something, I was elected the head girl and I became the NCC best cadet, and then went on to do my graduation in Women's College. And the year I graduated, I was married to my cousin, who was a banker, cricketer, and moved to his house. I thought it would be great fun because when we used to go and spend some time, there was be so many people. I thought it would be great fun. But when you live in a joint family, you know what it is like. There were 15 of us living together, and my poor mother-in-law, I don't know how she managed it. For lunch and dinner, anybody would drop in. We didn't know whether there would be 15 of us sitting down to lunch or 25. Those were the days when, people had large hearts and they could organize things. There was lots of servants. We were pampered lot basically, except when it came to Niyaz Nazar, the festivities around the holy months of Muharram, Ramzan or Rajab. Then the daughters and daughter-in-laws had to do the work. There was no way out. It was lovely. I used to enjoy the teamwork. There used to be a lot of bonhomie amongst us, and we learned something from each other. My husband was posted by the State Bank of India to Bahrain, and there every day I had to cook breakfast, lunch, and I would carry the lunch to the dinner. My husband first day he said, "What, the same thing? We are going to have the same thing to eat?" I said, "Yes, I am cooking. I can only cook this much. You want to cook, have something else, take us out for dinner." That was my. How could you spend the whole day cooking? And he would entertain. Every week there would be a party at our place. He would call his cricketing buddies, people from his office, people he knew, and his Oxbridge club that they went to. So we used to entertain a lot. And people seemed to like the food that I used to serve them. So some of my friends asked me to share my recipes with them. And I called them over to teach them how to make Hyderabadi dishes. And I would be just putting something, and Pia, my friend, would take it from my hand, measure it, and she wrote down all the recipes and catalogued them, and I'm very grateful to her. Because when we moved to Bombay, I used to have cookery classes, 4 women at a time. My kitchen was quite small, and these recipes came in very handy. The best was in Bombay, a friend of mine said, her son is totally spoiled but loves ghar ka khana. I don't know how he's going to exist in America where he's going for further studies. I'm sending him to you, teach him something too. He brought 3 of his friends. And the one boy who was an engineer, who was going for his master's, I started them with peeling an onion, how to peel an onion and slicing it. The engineer was so precise in his movements, so good. And they said, "We want shortcuts, auntie. Tell us shortcuts. We want to do shortcuts." So I gave them tips what you can buy from the Indian groceries. They wanted to make biryani, but without draining the rice. So I taught them how to make a pulao, murgi pulao in the rice cooker, make some sabzis. They wanted to make shikampur. I said, "You cannot make shikampur because it's a very tedious thing, and just forget about it." They wanted basically a menu where they could entertain their friends. So I taught them Khubani ka mitha, which they were very happy to learn because it's so easy. During my Bombay stay, my cousin, who was training managers at the Sea Rock Hotel, used to come and have lunches at my place. They had a strike, the trade unions were on strike, and nothing could go in, no groceries could go in. And so it was a very sad time for them. So one day she was crying over food. I said, "What's happening, Sarah?" She said, "Oh, I come and eat here, tuck in like nobody's business, and my boys, they are eating just aloo puri from 12 days. I said, "What do you want?" "Biryani for them, I said, "I can't carry it there inside, sorry," because no cars were allowed inside. So she said, "Please, Minwapa, get them something." So I made a lot of shikampurs, and in my big handbag, I carried them inside. And they had a party in her room. The boys were 6'2", huge men. And if I come across them in any of the hotels, they give me a red carpet treatment. So I think the shikampurs were worth it. Coming from a family of gourmets, it was difficult to escape cooking. When I was very small, I remember the first thing we made, my sister and I made was khichdi. Next to our doll's house, my ayah had made a small matti ka chulla, and we picked up dried twigs from the garden and had a fire going. And most of the work was honestly done by Aima, Choti Aima, and we took the credit. The khichdi was made and we served it on the table. And everybody was so happy, and the adulation we got and the praise. That was such a high, and that had me hooked. I said, "I am going to do this." The reflex action of the people who eat, you know whether they like it or not. That was something very nice. I don't know if there are some Hyderabadis who can counter me, but Hyderabad food has evolved, from just being a Persianized tikka khana. Muhammad Quli got married to a Vijayanagar princess. She brought her sambar and her kulsus. So we have the khaliyas and the khatti dal to thank her for, and we thank her for it. And now khatti dal is a signature dish for every house in Hyderabad, I think. We had, when the Asif Jahis came in with the Mughals, we had the Turkish influences on the food. And the Yemeni soldiers, who were the Janissaris, were brought from Yemen and some African countries. They used to make a soup that a whole lamb would be cooked in a big cauldron with a lot of dry fruits and everything that they wanted, even some plums and peaches. They would put whatever was in season. And they would get anything they wanted from the pantry of the Nizam because they were the Janissaris. They were spoiled. And so the marag evolved. And now we have marag being served in every wedding. During our weddings, marag was not served. But now marag is being served. And I have evolved the recipe to my own liking, which is different. It's not so greasy. And of course, I don't put the whole lamb in, so that makes a difference. I was lucky to have a very supporting family. My father, my husband, and my two marvelous sons have supported me in all the crazy things that I did. I had their support. When my husband retired and came back to Hyderabad, he had nothing to do but play tennis and call people home for dinners. He would say, "Bibi, you are not calling anybody for dinner, so we are not being called." Everybody doesn't go out to dinner every day, I would tell him. What is this? You have to eat simple food also sometime at home. At one of the dinners, my friend's daughter, Nishat Fatima, she was an ace photographer. She took the pictures of the dishes. She said, "Auntie, can I take some pictures?" I said, "Sure." And the next day she rings up and says, "I have this friend who is a Microsoft headhunter, and he has these 26, 27 boys going to Seattle, and they haven't had a single proper Hyderabadi food. They get this paradise biryani, Sabi biryani, which is not truly authentic Hyderabadi. Can you do a proper Hyderabadi dastakhan from them on chowkis?" Chowkis are the low tables 1 feet high, and we sit on the ground and eat. So we had, I was very happy to do it. I said, "Yes, sure, come over and we'll chart out a menu." So we made a menu, and she said, "What about the pricing?" I said, "I don't know, I'll have to work out how much the ingredients cost. She said, no auntie, not like that. We are going to charge them what a 5-star hotel takes for a single person at the buffet. I said, nobody's going to pay me like that. She said, you just wait. And anyway, she got it. I was very grateful to her. And with these boys, there's some handlers had also come, these, senior officers from Microsoft, I think. And after this dinner, the word spread around. I have never advertised, but these people there, some people used to telephone and say, can we come over? I said, give me 2 days time. I need 2 days time for, and at least 4 people up to any number. So I started getting frequent guests, and it was good fun. And me and my husband and I both loved company, and we liked meeting new people. So it is a very good experience, meeting all kinds of people from all walks of life. Then my cousin, Anwar Ali Khan, the late Anwar Ali Khan, who was a journalist, said, Minwapa, this is not being done. You must do it professionally. You must make a proper menu card and you must have something written on it. I said, you design it and we'll get it printed. So he designed my menu card and he wrote a very good intro to it. And I'm very grateful. I don't think I could be what I am without my family and my friends. And after this, the Sheraton Hotel was having a seminar of their international managers. And they called me and they said, can you come for lunch? I said, why, what for? They said, oh, we want to do this and we want to discuss it with you because we want one meal at your place. I was thrilled. I went and I had a very good lunch. And there were about 36, 37 people from there who came. And then the word really spread. And then I met Radhika and Shrikant. Shrikant was then Marriott, he was working at Marriott General Manager. They called all the general managers of the 5-star hotels to my place for a dinner. And after that, Shrikant was posted to, he got a job in Hyatt Kochi, Grand Hyatt Kochi. And he asked me to come and do a Ramzan festival there for iftar. Oh, that was such fun. When I saw the kitchen, I was thrilled. I had never seen a commercial kitchen in my life. And it was like a football field, gleaming with stainless steel. It was such fun. And big urlis they had. These Malayalis had these urlis. Where a child could swim in it, I think. It was huge. And it was a wonderful experience working there. And every hotel that I worked in, I fell in love with all the sous chefs. They were so sweet, so helpful, and so ready to learn. It was a wonderful experience. I had taken our old cook from the old city to Kochi, and she was supposed to be making lukmi. So she sat down on the floor as they do in Hyderabad to make a dough for the lukmis. And one sous chef had said, "Nahi, Amma, don't just put the ingredients. We'll put it in the machine." She trotted with him, and she said, "Machine, go, 2 minutes mein kar diya." She was so thrilled. And then they put it through another machine after. It had, after a couple of hours, they let it set. The whole thing came out. She said, "Sari ke vasa nikal raha." She was so thrilled with it. She would go and inspect all the dishwashers and things that she'd never seen in her life. So that was a very good experience for her also. So it was great fun. And after that, the Hyatt family has been really nice to me. I was invited to Palace, to Hyatt Place, Hyderabad, twice. For food festivals, they called it Masnad Pe Dawat. And I've just been to the Hyatt at Vadodara for 15 days. I've done a stint with Marriott and with Lands and Taj Lands and Bandra. But the cherry on the cake was Lake Palace Udaipur. I curated 2 dinners for them. I was given the royal suite. I had never seen a suite as beautiful as that. And the kitchen, the bonhomie in the kitchen, and the culture of the Rajputs, it was a wonderful experience working there. People ask me, you make all these biryani and things. What is it about Hyderabadi food that you like best? And they're shocked when I say khatti dal, palak gosht, खीमा आलू मेथी, और it's simply curry, सोजी की फली की curry. You know, that is the thing that you hanker for when you're away from home, is just that. Not the biryanis and not the mirchi ka salans, tomato ki cut and all that. वो भी आपको पता. This is the menu card and the intro that Anwar had written for me. And let's have the dishes now. The dishes. I will show you some of the dishes that I make at the hotels. This is what I have served at home to my guests. There's khubani ka mitha, and there's goat ka halwa. It's a badam halwa, and this is andon ki pyosi. This is my signature dessert. Andon ki pyosi. It's made with khoa, ande, badam, saffron. Lot of saffron goes into it. This is the biryani and the tomato ki cut. We always have boiled eggs on top of the tomato ki cut. You can see the dastakhan, this red dastakhan, it's actually very gaudy. It's got red, white flowers with white chamchas like things, and there's a small couplet written on it where guests can sit. It's called, the couplet is, शुक्र खालिक का कर आमद मेहमान पर, रिस्क खाता है अपना तेरे दस्तखान पर. Thank the God for the advent of your guest. He eats what is ordained for him, and you are blessed. This is the shikampur. All my friends' children love the shikampur. लखनऊ वाली शामी बनाते shikampur. Shikam means pate, and pur is the filling. So we have a filling of a प्याज की चटनी in it. This is the pan. Pandan is served. Pan is served after. If you come to me for dinner, I will serve you pan made at my pan, from my pandan. Hyderabad is not only about biryani, sherwani, pareshani. It has more to it than all this. While we were growing up, we were sort of, my parents saw to it that we were exposed to all kinds of cultures. But basically, we were taken to mushairas, wherever there were ghazal singing and wherever the classical music was being played. Before Rabindra Bharati, Nizam Club used to be the place where Hindustani classical was performed. I have heard Ravi Shankar and Ali Akbar Khan's Jugalbandi there. I have heard Begum Akhtar there, Jagjit Singh, many artists there. And then Rabindra Bharati happened, and my father would drag us along. We saw ballet for the first time. Our eyes were popping out. We just couldn't. We had read about it, but to see it was an experience. And then there were plays that we saw from translated plays of the French authors, the Russian, and then to Adrak Ke Panje. Adrak Ke Panje was a hilarious comedy, a takeoff on Hyderabad. It was really... Because of Dastarkhan and Nas, I get to meet such interesting people. one of the tour guides, Jaunty, she brought home, shouldn't say like the cat bringing home, she brought Ralph Fiennes and his girlfriend, who was a baroness and the head designer for Chanel, for lunch once. And I was supposed to talk to this lady about Telangana fabrics and our clothes. But he wouldn't let me talk. He looked at the pictures on the wall, my husband's cricketing pictures, and he said, oh, this was the same time my father had gone to Oxford, and he was thrilled to see, and he was talking about cricket in England, cricket in India, cricket in South Africa. It was a thrilling time. And when I told my daughter-in-laws that Ralph Fiennes had come, she said, Ma, how could you do it? You should have told us. I said, you have flown back to Hyderabad to see him. I didn't know he was coming. And when I gave him my book, I have a book where these people write a little note of appreciation or defamation, whatever it is. So I told him, you have to write your real name. So he says, shall I show you my passport? And then there was the CEO of Chase Manhattan who came with her husband. Chase, not Chase Manhattan. And she was tatting. It was so lovely to see. She must have been in her 30s or 40s, tatting away. I said, you remind me of my mother. She says, I do tatting every day of my life. She says, I have to keep my fingers busy. And I believe even during meetings, she's tatting under the table. Talking about Hyderabad's culture, we have a group going called Sham-e-Ghazal. I happen to be the secretary of it. We have 6 meetings a year, and at one meet we have one dedicated to one poet and his life and times, and the critique of his poetry is read out. It's like a learning experience. We cyclo-style his ghazals that are going to be sung in Roman English as well as in Urdu, so that people learn to appreciate Urdu. This is Sham-e-Ghazal is for propagating Urdu and a love of Urdu poetry and Hindustani Sangeet. And there's an NGO called Apna Watan. Some of my friends were here for Apna Watan. It was started in my house in Begumpet after the Gujarat riots. And it is to inculcate a sense of secularism into the children. And we are striving hard to do it. Let's pray we succeed. I think I've talked a lot. Now if there are any questions. I'll end up with this shade, with one shade of olive. I have an extended family and all of us have emptiness, so we all look after each other. दिल ढूंढता है फुर्सत के रात दिन बैठे रहे तस्वुरे जाना किए हुए फुर्सत मिलती च नहीं.
Thank you so much, Dilnaz Appa.
I was told that real biryani, they don't put saffron. Is that true? The real Hyderabadi biryani, they don't put saffron.
ज़ाफ़रान के बगैर मज़ा ही नहीं आता. ज़ाफ़रान तो होना ज़रूरी.
That's what I thought, but obviously biryani is made in different styles.
Different styles.
Someone told me, no, in a good biryani, you never put that.
If you have a Sufyani biryani, then you put, other herbs. Not the saffron, because saffron colors the thing.
Ma'am, your go-to food, if you had to pick one, what would that be?
Oh, khatti dal. Khatti dal, any day khatti dal.
आदाब दिलनाज़ आंटी.
जीते रहो.
दिलनाज़ आंटी, आप बोल रहे थे वो चिकन में मज़ा अलग ही आता. Was that धनिया पत्ता या
कोथमीर
कोथमीर? हाँ, वही.
धनिया पत्ता, छोटी गली प्याज,
हाँ.
and इलायची, lots of इलायची.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And you marinate the chicken
Yes,
with
yes,
this.
marinate.
अच्छा,
Try
बस
it.
बस ये तीन चीज.
3 चीज. उसके बाद में you
जो
add
मैं-
other masalas, or
जी,
you
जी.
make biryani, or you make korma, whatever. But this is the basic.
Thank you, Vivian.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम
वालेकुम सलाम.
दिलनाज आंटी मैं जब बुक्स ढूंढ रही थी ऑन हैदराबादी कुजीन सो आई कुडंट गेट दोज ऑथेंटिक बुक्स विच was there for Mughlai cuisine. So you know of any which was written by that time ka Khan Saba?
Oh, that time का खान सामा नहीं मालूम. There is a Hyderabadi cookery book. It's called Indian Cookery Book by Sidhu Sharif. She's my aunt who wrote it. But they, you know, I don't know how Mughlai. It is हमारे घर का खाना basically what we cook. And there is my late aunt Doreen. Peter Hassan's wife has written a book called Saffron and Pearls. They have all our family recipes. She's good.
Okay, some book which was written from the Nizam's family that you know of.
There's a book Asif Jahi about Asif Jahi cuisine that was published by Siyasat, but it is in Urdu. Do you read Urdu?
Yes, yes.
So you should get it.
Okay.
But I didn't find it helpful at all. इतने खानदान के लोग लिखिए, अब मैं क्या लिखूं?
Hello, Minu Appa.
You help me with it, I'll do it.
Hello, Minu Appa. Thank you for that
Hello.
lovely peek into your beautiful life. I have a very technical question. How do you put saffron and at what point in the biryani?
Saffron should be ground with a little bit of sugar and mortar and pestle, and if you heat it for 5 seconds in the microwave, it crumbles very easily. And then you put some milk and keep it, let it stew for some time in the milk, and then on the top, last thing that you do is put the saffron.
Thank you so much. Lovely.